When I hit rock bottom after my divorce, I thought the pain would kill me. My whole world collapsed overnight. The person I loved walked away, the house was gone, and the friends who used to visit every weekend suddenly disappeared. But the hardest part wasn't losing her or the comfort we built together. It was my own family, the people who were supposed to love me no matter what, laughing when I asked for help. I still remember the sound of their laughter echoing in my ears. My mother's dismissive tone, my brother's smirk, and my father shaking his head, saying, "You made your bed, now lie in it." That moment burned itself into my soul. For weeks, I barely ate. I slept on an air mattress in a half-empty apartment and stared at the ceiling every night wondering how I'd ended up so alone. Every message I sent to my family was left unread. Every call I made went unanswered. I was the outcast, the joke of every family gathering I wasn't invited to anymore. They told everyone that I was a failure, that I brought it all on myself. The pain turned to anger, and that anger turned to silence. I stopped calling. I stopped explaining. I stopped trying to make them see who I really was. The first year after the divorce was survival. I worked whatever jobs I could find. I repaired computers in my tiny kitchen, took online classes, and slowly built my skills. I remember sitting on the floor, wires everywhere, and thinking, one day, they'll regret every word. Not out of hatred, but out of something deeper. I wanted to prove to myself that I was worth more than their laughter. It took years. 6 long years of quiet work, long nights, and stubborn persistence. I started my own small IT support company. At first, it was just me and an old laptop. Then I hired one person. Then two. Slowly, my company grew. We got contracts with local businesses, then bigger ones. I moved out of that tiny apartment into a modest house, and eventually, into something much more, a large, modern home with a wide driveway, big windows, and the kind of peace I used to dream about. Every inch of that home felt earned. I never bragged. I never posted about it. My silence became my strength. I didn't need to tell my family what I'd become. I didn't owe them that satisfaction. Until one summer afternoon, a car pulled up to my gate. A familiar car. I watched from my office window as my parents, my brother, and his wife stepped out, dressed like they were attending some casual family gathering. My stomach dropped, not from fear, but from disbelief. After 6 years of silence, they showed up smiling, as if nothing had happened. They waved to the security camera, acting like they were just dropping by to say hello. I stepped outside, calm and quiet. My brother looked around, whistling at the house. "Wow," he said, "you don't need all this space. Why don't we move in? We've been looking for somewhere bigger anyway." My father laughed as if it was a harmless joke. But I could see the truth, they weren't joking. They really thought they could just walk in, after all those years, and claim part of what I built. I didn't say a word. I didn't argue, didn't remind them of the years they ignored me, didn't ask why they were suddenly interested in my life. I just looked at them, at the same faces that once turned away when I needed them most, and smiled faintly. Then, without saying a word, I pulled my phone from my pocket and made one call. It wasn't a call of anger. It was a call of boundaries. I called my security company. Within minutes, 2 guards appeared at the gate. They stood quietly, waiting for my signal. My brother's smile faded. My mother looked confused. My father frowned. I looked at the guard and simply said, "They're trespassing. Please make sure they don't return." My voice was calm, steady, emotionless. The guards escorted them back to their car. My mother tried to protest, saying, "We're family." But I didn't respond. My brother shouted something about me being ungrateful, but I just turned away and walked back inside. The sound of their car leaving the driveway was the most peaceful thing I'd ever heard. When I closed the door behind me, I felt no guilt. No regret. Just silence, the same silence they gave me years ago. I poured myself a coffee, looked around the home I built from nothing, and smiled to myself. Revenge didn't have to be loud. Sometimes, the quietest actions hit the hardest. That night, my phone buzzed with messages. My cousin texted, saying my family was furious, calling me arrogant and heartless. I just replied with one line, "Funny, that's what they called me when I begged for help." Then I turned my phone off and went to sleep. In the days that followed, I didn't think much about it. I kept working, kept living, and felt lighter than ever before. They never came back. They didn't apologize either, but I didn't need them to. I realized that revenge isn't always about seeing others suffer, it's about showing them, without words, that you no longer need them to survive. Sometimes, silence is the loudest message you can send. They laughed when I fell, but I built something they'll never touch. I learned that when you stop chasing validation from people who never cared, you become unstoppable. That one call wasn't about kicking them out, it was about reclaiming my peace. And that, to me, was the sweetest revenge of all. If you've ever been betrayed by the people you trusted most, remember this: you don't need to scream, argue, or beg them to see your worth. Just build your peace, protect it, and when the time comes, let your silence do the talking. Because sometimes, the best revenge is living so well that the ones who broke you can't even step foot into your world anymore.